I am Juan Workington. At the age of 9, I received a shoebox from Operation Christmas Child, and this is my story. I was born in Nicaragua. From the time that I was born, I was diagnosed with a disease that caused me to lose my right arm at a very young age. So I was taken to this hospital in Managua where I was diagnosed with this disease, and the doctors, they told my aunt that they couldn't do very much about it besides to amputate it, just to try to prevent it from spreading throughout my body. After the surgery, my aunt, she just took off. She just left me there. Here are your family, the people who are supposed to take care of you, who are supposed to love you and care and give you support, especially for me now losing my arm. They just took off on me and left me there. And yeah, I felt very rejected and abandoned. Of course, I could not live in this hospital because it's a hospital, and so the social workers took me to this Christian orphanage. Growing up in the orphanage, that was my family. 85 kids, they were my siblings, and we just grew up together. There was always something going on. There was always, I can almost imagine now, there was always a soccer game going on, or a baseball game. But also there were the times where some of us cried for a lot of the nights, because some of us, we missed our family. In the back of my head, I always wondered, what is it like having a family? What is it like to have a mom and dad or siblings? And yes, I did spend a lot of time praying for my family, for my biological family. Every time when people made fun of me, when I started missing my family, when I started questioning, I always felt like someone was hugging me and giving me that extra love that I needed. One day at the orphanage, we were told that we were gonna receive presents. These presents were packed for us by some people that lived really, really far away. The part that excited me the most about the shoebox were of course, the new toys, wrapping them from their new packages, and getting my own toothbrush. That was great because sometimes we had to share our own toothbrush because we didn't have enough for all the kids. For some of those kids, some of the kids at the orphanage even, for some of them, that was their first gift ever. And like for them to open up this brand new toy, this little car or this little box of crayons, in a way, I think a lot of those kids felt, yeah, there is someone out there that does care for me. At the distribution center, we were offered this book called The Greatest Gift of All. I remember, I think every one of the kids lined up to grab that book. It had a lot of colorful pictures, and it was in our own language, and it was really easy to read. And here was the book that explained the greatest gift of all, Jesus Christ. I became a Christian because of all the things that I had put together about Jesus. It didn't matter that he had taken my family away and that I had this disease, because yet Jesus, had died in the cross for me. When I met the Workington family at the orphanage, it was fun. I right away clicked with Ed, the dad of the family, and I just remember working with them and working with the rest. And I had a good time using the tools that they were working with.
Juan was the kid with one arm in the orphanage. He would show up very quickly when the day started, and he'd hang around, and just in case we needed something, and it seemed like we could communicate.
Well, we had connected with Juan and made a bond, especially Ed had really made a bond with Juan. Of course, my kids wanted to take them all home. Cute little kids who were laughing and giggling, and they told us right away that was an impossibility, that we couldn't adopt.
We really wanted to make a difference for someone, and if the difference involved bringing them into our home and making them a part of us, that was something that we wanted to do. And of course, it was about what God wanted us to do, really.
You know, if God had not wanted this to happen, There were many, many, many doors for him to close along the way. It was a long process and difficult.
Our dream probably, or many kids' dream, to get adopted, and when they mentioned that, I was just overwhelmed, and yeah, I just started crying and realized that God had provided something that I prayed for. When I arrived in Canada for the very first time, I was 13 years old, and I was overwhelmed at seeing all the things that there were in this country. The snow, the weather, the people, the language.
All those things made the transition really, really difficult, not only for him, but for us as a family too.
It was a hard process overall, getting used to the whole family thing, because again, I missed the most essential time in my life to have a family, learning how to be part of a family.
He hadn't ever had to trust anybody. He was on his own. He had survived on his own, and for him to trust us and God, that God had put him in this home for a reason, there were many, many miracles along the way. He knew that he had been put here by God, but to translate that into now I then have to trust God and trust us as parents, that actually took 5 years.
Juan Jose Workington, Sexsmith, Alberta.
I remember telling my daughter Janice, I just want his heart. I want him to be a son to me. And he had told us, I'm never going to trust you. You know, you're not God. But he's my son now.
I definitely understand what a family looks like now. It's so cool, like realizing that they love me and that they care for me and that I can always count on them. Just because my biological family abandoned me, that doesn't mean that I have to distrust everybody else. There's people out there that care for me. An example are my adopted family. They do love me, they do care, and they do want to love me. And I don't have to reject that. I can accept that because God has given me that. And so there's a plan, and He had a plan. And I know there's more yet in my life that He wants to use my life story and the things that He has done in my life. Some of the things that I really like to do and that I feel that I kind of have a good idea about would be working with kids. I like the fact of going to orphanages and helping out, hanging out with the kids and playing with them, because I know that they do need love, and I know that I can offer that. I've been in their spot before, and I know what it's like having someone who can just take a little bit of time out there of their life and play with me or play with them. For me, packing up those shoe boxes, it means a lot to me. I know, and I've seen those faces, how they reacted to those shoe boxes when they opened them. So for me, to pack those shoe boxes is extra special. As soon as I'm picking up something from the store, I can already picture what that kid is gonna look like when he opens that new toy.
To be able to go to Nicaragua and see the shoe boxes being distributed there when we arrived, to see that the kids at the orphanage had received some of those boxes, maybe not the ones we did, but the same ones, that really impacted our kids that, yeah, there's a purpose in this.
I think everybody should do it. It's so great. The more shoe boxes we have, the more joy we bring to the kids who don't receive a gift and don't have toys or don't have simple things that we think they're simple, but to them they're amazing. God has a plan. And yeah, He did have a plan. Yeah, I did lose my arm, but look, I gained a family. I do have a disease that will last for the rest of my life, but yet it doesn't matter because my body's gonna die one day anyways, and I am gonna have a new body in heaven.